Deployment is a process of the migrating the code from one environment to other environment. Deployment plays a critical role in successful go live of the application. Deployment involves 3 steps. One is creating a product rule. Second is extracting the zip archive. Third is importing the zip archive into the target environments. And the product rule. Just product rule contains data instances and the rule instances developed by the developers. And the source code will be packaged by in the product. I mean, like the source code will be packaged and the zip archive will be created with the help of the product rule. The zip archive is nothing but the jar file. This jar file will be used for deploying the code into the target environments. And this has already been discussed in the part 1 session. In the part 2 session, we are going to discuss about this product rule in a more detailed manner, and including these checkboxes also, what this particular checkbox will do, what is the uses of this checkboxes, what are the differences between the applications to include section and the rule sets to include section, and what is this global exclusions, what is the class instances to include. We will discuss a bit more detailed way in this part 2 session, but we have discussed that in the part 1, but we will discuss more detailedly in this part 2. The persons, I mean, like the folks who have missed the part 1, it's okay. They can also see this part 2 video. We'll get a complete overview of this deployment process and how we have to embed the system instances, how to include the instances in this particular product rule to extract the zip archive and to prepare a zip file, how to download the zip file. Everything will be provided in this part 2 discussion. Let's explore on these rules. Here, if you want to deploy our entire application to the target environments, we'll provide the application name. We'll provide the application name and its version. We can also add more than one application to get deployed. If you want to deploy our entire application and its associated data instances, rule history instances, data types of the particular application, you have to use these checkboxes so that particular instances will be deployed. First checkbox, associated data instance. What is this checkbox will do? I will this checkbox. What this will do is, before explaining about this checkbox, I will quickly tell you what is this associated data instances. These are similar to non-version rules. They belongs to rule set, but doesn't belong to rule set version. They are inherited from the data hyphen classes, and they doesn't belongs to a rule set version. And the example for this non-version data instances are operator ID, access group, work basket. If you go and see in the operator ID, this is operator ID. This is mapped to rule set, but there is no rule set version being mapped. It's not belong to rule set version at all. So we can say this is a non-version. It's not non-version. It is similar to non-version instances. You might get a doubt that what is this non-version instance and what is this data instance? What is the difference between the non-version instance and not what the difference between the data instance? Non-version instance is, it belongs to a rule set, but doesn't belong to a rule set version. It inherits from the rule hyphen classes. Similarly, data instance, it belongs to a rule set, but doesn't belong to a rule set version. It inherits from data hyphen classes. Why I'm saying data hyphen classes? What is the class of the data operator ID is data admin operator ID. Data admin operator ID, finally it will be inheriting from data hyphen classes. Data hyphen classes rules. So if you go and see the application, I had told you just now that non-version rules, which belongs to a rule set, but doesn't belong to a rule set one version, but they are inherited from rule hyphen classes. This is rule hyphen and operator ID is from the data hyphen. This is also belongs to a rule set, doesn't belong to a rule set version, and operator ID also belongs to a rule set and doesn't belong to a rule set version. This belongs to this rule inherits from rule hyphen classes, that inherit from the data hyphen classes. This is a simple example I would like to say. Like that, all the data instances will be included. You might get a doubt. Okay, which application is nowhere related to the operator? Just now I'm speaking about operator ID is related to the rule set. I'm told it belongs to rule set, doesn't belong to rule set version. Then how it is belonging to the application? Just if you go and see in the application contains the rule set stack. Rule set stack contains the rule sets. So whatever the rule sets you are including, all the rule sets non-versioned data instances will be included. Non-versioned data instances is nothing but the associated data instances. If the operator ID is belonging to the renewable, this renewable operator ID will be included if you check the checkbox associated data instance. Okay, not only operator ID, work basket, access group. You can see this. You can preview the product rule. I have enabled this checkbox. I'll go and click on the preview product rule. What I will see is I can see list of the data instances which are inheriting from data hyphen classes and which are non-versioned and which belongs to rule set and doesn't belong to rule set version. That will get included in this rule set. If you go here, if you click on non-version, this is non-version is different. That's why I'm trying to say that might be data instances are not non-versioned. If they belong to rule set but doesn't belong to rule set version, but they are inherited from data hyphen classes. So data hyphen classes means these are non-version rules. These are inheriting from rule hyphen classes. That information only will be included in this particular area, non-versioned rule set area. There might be data instances are non-version, but we cannot call it. You cannot be seeing in this category, in this non-versioned category. Okay. If you go to this class data admin operator ID, if you click on it, you can see just now I told you there is a sales executive at the rate of DOE. It belongs to renewable rule set. Renewable rule set is in the application rule set stack. Yes, it is there in the application rule set stack. Just because this rule set stack is having this renewable rule set, the data instance that is operator ID, which is belonging to rule set and not belonging to rule set version, which is inheriting from the data hyphen class, will be included. Okay, custom product rule set. What happens if I don't check this checkbox? If I don't check this checkbox, the production rule set, which is included in the application definition tab in the production advanced section, here I have included one production rule set. This not be included. If you want to check it, you can go and click on the preview product rule. You can see only 4 rules. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 rule sets. How many rule sets are there in the rule set stack of this application? 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 will be included. This production rule set will not be included. Now, if I enable the checkbox, totally 5 rule sets will get included. If you go and see in the preview product rule, if you see this, 5 rule sets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. DMRG is a production rule set. Production rule sets, just for your information, it is used to handle the delegation requirements. So all the delegated rules will be available in the production rule set, and that will be provided in the application definition tab advanced section. I showed you, right? This is there. This is a place, DMRG. That rule set is being included here. Totally 5 rule sets. Okay, 5 rule sets is being included. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. DMRG. And coming to this delta mode. I would like to explain about delta mode. What is this delta mode? There is once in the initial phase only we'll go for deploying the entire application. In the second time, if you want to deploy it, you should go and deploy only the rule set where the changes occurred. where the changes occurred. You should not deploy entire application once again. So patch version, we can call it as a patch version. I clicked on the Delta mode, clicked on the save. I changed the application name to 01010112. If I click on this, if you observe this, 010102 is having only 010102 version. Only 012 version will be included. If you go and preview the product rule, if you see this renewable, only 010102 version will only be included here. What happens if I don't enable the Delta mode? If I don't enable the Delta mode, it will include 010102. It will include 010101 also. It will two rule sets will be included. Two rule sets. How many rule sets will be included is two rule sets. Just because I have mentioned 010102. First highest version, the lesser version, the sibling version, we can call it as younger version. That also will get included. 010102, 010101. If I included only 0101, it will only include the 0101. It will not include the 010102 version. So if I am clicking on the Delta mode, it will include only 010102. If I don't click on Delta mode, it will enable both, it will take both the versions. If you see this renewable, it is including 010102, 010101. So both the version has been picked up here. Okay. And coming to this, include rule history. This will be, it's not a recommended, it's not a mandatory one, it's an optional one. If the rules are made, they are done changes by the developers, who has made the changes, at what time he has done the changes. If you want to know such kind of rule history, then we will enable the checkbox so that in other environments, people can check it, who has made the changes. Instead of coming back to the development environment and checking who has made the changes, all this information about particular rule history, he needs to come to the dev environment instead of coming every time to dev environment to check the history of a rule, who has made the changes and when he has made the changes. Actually, if you're not including also, it's not a problem at all. Just it's an additional advantage we are going to get it if you enable that checkbox. If you don't enable the checkbox also, it is not a big thing. It's an optional thing. You can take it as an optional. Include data types. This particular application is having multiple tables. If you want multiple tables, internal data types, if you want to include the data types, you have to enable that checkbox. So if you go and click on the preview product rule, if you see this, there are data instances which are included here. That will be available in this application or framework. Data types, if you are enabling the checkbox, that will be shown in this framework or data energy partner state. This all belongs to this application. So all this information, all these data types which are going to get included in the product product rule is available in this preview product file related preview. We can see this preview in this preview what data types are available for this application, which will be packaged as part of the product rule. Energy table will be packaged, partner table will be packaged, the state table will be packaged. Energy is having one instance, partner will be having two instance, and the state will be having the two instance. What happens if I don't include these data types? Still, is it possible for me to add the data types of the application? No. Just because I have unchecked the data types. So you can't see this here. You can only see some other class instances. This is related to work instances. This is not related to data instances, data types. This is a work case types. So data type is not included here. So if I want to include, if I uncheck this also, if I want to include, how I can do that? For that one, I can use this particular section class instances to include. Just to click on plus and add that particular, for example, if I want to add this data type, data state, and click on it, save it. Okay. You go and preview it. You can see that the state will be added in application or framework data. Go and expand this. You can see this is state. State is having two records. That information, Alabama and Texas is the two states. That information will be available here. Right? I mean, this is one kind of advantage. Instead of going adding each and every class instance of the data type or work type or data type, it's better you delete it, add it here. For the entire application, it will take it. In initial phase, in the first initial release, this will be a more advantageous feature if you want to deploy the entire application and its associated data instances, data types to the higher environments. This is the best section, I can say that. From the second releases onwards, it's better not to use this section at all. I mean, like second releases means from the patch releases onwards, it's better to go for a controlled deployment. For that controlled deployment, you'll use the section rule sets to include section. And you don't need to worry about this checkbox. Most of the times I never use this one, update dependent applications, which is not required. It's better to ignore it. Just don't take the info. I mean, like it's better. This is having less importance. This is like whenever you have dependent applications, if you want to update the application which is going to deployed for the dependent applications, we are going to use this feature. But okay, it's ignore it. Let's not take much into the priority. Right now, we don't need to discuss about this feature, about this particular checkbox. Rule sets to include. Here, if you want to deploy the entire application, is it necessary that we have to provide that applications to include section only? No need. You can use these rule sets to include section also for deploying the entire application. Just you have to provide this particular application. It is provided in which rule set? It is mapped to which rule set? Just to give the rule set name that will deploy the entire application and its associated instances to the higher environments. If you see this renewable rule set, it is been renewable application, it is mapped to the renewable rule set. So if you go and see here, I have prepared another product rule just for our demo purpose. I removed the application itself completely. Just I am including the rule sets to include. I given the minimum version from where the rules needs to start and the maximum version till what version the rules needs to be taken into the consideration. If the one is having the 3 rules, T2 is having the 3 rules, totally 6 rules will be moved to the higher environments. Okay. Here, you might get a doubt that just now I was speaking that I don't need to provide the applications to include section, the entire application that needs to be deployed. Just I can use only the rule set. Sorry, that will deploy the entire application. Yes, it is possible. I'll show you in the preview. Preview will confirm you whether it is getting deployed or not. For that one, you should not enable this checkbox. Exclude non-version rules. Just now I was discussing about non-version rules, which is name itself indicates that it is having no version. The rules which are having no version are called as non-version rules. They belongs to rule set, but they don't have the version. They are having rule set, but they don't belong to rule set version. They are inherited from the rule hyphen classes. The examples are class, rule set name, version, application, access rules to the object, access deny. So in this global exclusions, I have to uncheck the checkbox. If I uncheck the checkbox, application will get deployed. Entire application will get deployed. So if you go and see the preview product rule, if you go and see, you can see that renewable non-version rules. This is non-version rules. See, non-version rule doesn't belong. It is staying in separate category. 010102 is separate category. 01001 is one other version. This non-version is itself is in a separate category. It is not staying in any inside of anything. It's staying as separate collapsible one. I mean, that means that it doesn't it is not staying in the 1.1.2 version or 1.1.1 version. It is staying in non-version rule sets. Application is available here. You can see there are two applications available here. Renewable 010101, renewable 010102. This will get included here. Okay. And here, what is the use of this global exclusions and exclude non-versions? These both work to each other. They work in both coordination to each other. Global exclusions means they exclude all the rules which are not required to be deployed. Whatever the rule set you add here, all the rule sets related access deny, access rules to the object, all will be ignored. They will not be moved to the higher environment. But I have a requirement. I have a requirement to move class rule set name, rule set version, application. Then I'll uncheck the checkbox. If you are unchecking the checkbox means that rules will get moved. If you're checking the checkbox means the rules will not be moved to the higher environments. We should be very cautious in selecting what rules to be moved, what rules should not be moved. And if you're enabling this checkbox, there is no point if you're using this global exclusion checkbox also, because it is excluding completely non-version rules. Even if you use this global exclusion checkbox, if you uncheck it, it doesn't make any advantage here. So you have to add individually PZ keys of each and every record. PZ keys of each and every record means, for example, application is there. Go and take actions, view XML, Control F, PZ key. Here you can find the application PZ key. You have to take it PZ key of that particular application, and you have to add it in this particular area, individual instances area. You had to add plus and you had to add here. So you have to add Control V. Sorry, PZ key I hadn't copied it. If you want, I'll copy it. I'll show it. It's better. So confusion will go away. Why I had done it like that is just because I have enabled the checkbox here. This checkbox is enabled. Sorry, this is not the right area. I have created another rule set for explicitly providing only the rule set section demo to deploy the entire application to the other environments. You can add a key. You can add a key. You can add a key, PZ key, so that it will deploy the entire application to the higher environment. This will not, and also this will not move that non-version rules. So is it alone sufficient that this will not include a non-version rule application? Let's see the preview. Now the application will be, what is it happening or not? Rule application, it's happening. Remaining all non-version rules are not being included. Just because I have given the PZ key, that is being getting added. What happens if I don't give the PZ key of the application? That will not get added. You can go and see the preview product rules. If you go and see here, if you add it, if you expand it, see, this is separate category 010102 0101. They should separate category called non-version. It is not appearing here. It's been disappearing just because I added the checkbox to exclude non-version rules. I already told you the rules which are not versioned. Examples are class, application, rule set name, rule set version, access rules to the objects, access deny. So I will uncheck this checkbox. I don't want to go like that. I want, I have a requirement in my business, in my project right now, I want to deploy the class, application, rule set name and rule set version. But access rules, access deny also I have a requirement. I don't want to go and add everything here. I want to go for a controlled movement. I'll add the PZ keys here. I shown you, right? If for application or access rules to the objects, everything, you can go and add the PZ keys. Just I'll add it how I'm adding the application PZ key. You can add the PZ key of the access rules to the objects, access deny, all this. So you can see, check it. I have unchecked it whether it is still it is working or not. I have a doubt whether it works or not. Let's check it. So here non-version rules came 1, 2, 3, 4. Four checkboxes are unchecked. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, don't ignore this packaging. These are all part of one set only. This is important for us. You have to take it into consideration. Application class rule set wash. All these four instances are being unchecked, so these are getting included. Yeah, this served our purpose. This is our we need to move that rules related to the application and associated data instances. You might get a doubt that what is the difference between these associated data instances present here and in the applications to include a session also they are having this checkbox. What is this checkbox and what is this checkbox? This checkbox also will most data instances. These are also similar to non-version rules. They belong to rule set. They don't belong to rule set version. Just now I told you there is operator ID. Operator ID is one example. Access group is another example. Work basket is also another example. Operator ID will is belongs to a rule set, doesn't belongs to a rule set version, and they are inherited from the data hyphen classes. When you enable this checkbox, this will include only the non-version, data instances related to this particular rule set itself. Only renewable will appear. If I include for the application, what happens if it is I have included for the application? I'll go and preview the product rule. I should see the data instances, system data instances, data admin operator ID. Sorry, non-version, no, data instances which belongs to associated data instances which belongs to rule set doesn't belong to rule set version which are inherited from data hyphen classes. I will go and check it in this system data area. You can expand this data admin operator ID. It is 5 instances are getting added here, but this only 5 instances are there for this rule set. That's why it is getting added. Only 5 are there. I have provided only for the application. Application is having that having 5 operator IDs, so it is getting included. So I want to show you one demo here. I have included the application. Application contains associated data instances. All the operator IDs are getting included for this application. So I want to see whether the 5 operator IDs it is showing is related to the rule set, renewable rule set. Just because I have enabled this checkbox, whether this will appear in the preview product rule or not. Shall we have the preview and check it? We'll go on preview and check it, whether the 5 instances are getting added or not. Go to the preview product file. Getting preview product file, we'll see this system. I told you, right, we had to go and check in the system data area. The operator ID instances, data instances, these are inheriting from, you can see the data are inheriting from data hyphen classes. These are also similar to non-version rules only, but you should not check it in the this area, in this non-version area. It is similar, but not in the non, they are not same. Similar is say different and same is different. Similar means they also belongs to rule set, but doesn't belong to rule set version. Class belongs to rule set, doesn't belong to rule set version. Operator ID is a data instance. It belongs to rule set, doesn't belong to rule set version. They are inheriting from rule hyphen classes. We are this data instances, operator ID instances are inheriting from the data hyphen classes. You go and expand this operator. I'll go and expand this operator ID. See here, there are 5 instances which been clear that all the 5 instances related to this renewable rule set also getting migrated. That application itself is having 5 operator IDs, all that are related to the 5 that are renewable rule set. Even for that one, I'm just only mentioning that rule set. That 5 operator IDs are getting included or not. Both way I'm able to package the product rule and I'm able to extract the zip archive. Just you should know how to use this, both. There are number of ways to achieve the create an extract of the zip archive. There will be multiple ways. Just you should know how to use it. You have to know the terminologies. If you know terminologies well, you can easily play with extracting the zip archive. You can easily create the product rule. And the app context will be automatically populated. Wherever this particular rule set is being referred, that app context will get populated. App context is nothing but application context. You go and see in the application, you can see in the application rule set stack, all the rule sets will be referred here. Renewable rule set is referred in the 010101. It is also referred in the 010102 also. So that's why two applications are being coming in the app context. You can see here. Okay. That will be, you can select it, whatever your requirement is there, which application you want to move it, you can select your application context. Okay, depending on your requirement. So, coming to this, already explained about the global exclusions and non-version rules just now. And coming to this class instances to include, if you want to include the class records, class related records, either work cases or the data records, you can add the class name here. For example, if I don't include the descendants, if there are no records under this particular class, it will not show you any records. If you go and preview the product rule, if you go and see here in the application or framework data area, this area only we have to see that related section, class instances to include section, no data included. If I included the descendants is nothing but they'll be having some child classes. Child classes is, if you go and preview the product rule, you can see that there are child classes being included, and child class is having 14 instances. Work is having no instance. Child is having 14 instances. Child is having a lot of, it's like parent is not having anything. Child is having some 14 records. So 14 records is being mentioned here. 14 records is being mentioned here. Okay. And if say there might be chances in this real-time scenarios, there will be two classes will be there. I don't want two classes to be included. I want only one class to be included. Just I can provide which class you don't want. You can add that information. For example, even added what I have added. I have added include descendants. Include descendants even added. I don't want to add that child class. I mean, generally it should include REA request, but it's like I'm trying to nullify that. Nullify means I'm adding it through include descendants. I'm trying to ask the system take the descendants class, but using this one, I'm asking the system to don't take it. Even they mention take it, but don't take that class. I'm not interested to take that class. If you go and preview the product rule, if you go and see in the application or framework data, you'll not see any class. It will be empty. No data instances included here. Okay. Here we can mention this another thing is you can also mention the class instances. While class, you can mention class to get the PZ keys of the particular class. Or otherwise, if you want a PZ keys, the better. Another approach is I am trying to take the dynamic system settings PZ keys. I have gone to dynamic system settings, take the view XML from the actions, Control F PZ key. This is also one other better approach to take the PZ keys. Otherwise, you go and see here what is a PX obj class. PX obj class of this is data admin system settings. You want to check the dynamic system settings instead of coming every time for each and dynamic system settings. You don't want to do smartly. You want to go and do smartly the work. Click on query. It will provide all the DSS of that available in that class, whether it is a Pega DSS or whether it is DSS created by us, by the Pega developers. All this information will be there. Just enable it, click on the checkbox, automatically click on the submit. When you click on submit, automatically that gets populated. Once user clicks on the submit, that gets automatically populated into this area. Otherwise, you can go and go to the records explorer, sysadmin, dynamic system settings. This is sysadmin. If you go and take it in the dynamic system settings, you can also go and select the PZ keys. You can use the PZ keys and you can use it. Okay. This is one kind of approach for retrieving the dynamic system settings. And retrieving the PZ keys. Not only dynamic system settings, I'm saying that how to go to the dynamic system settings. You can go to the dynamic system settings and give the view XML. You can take the PJ dynamics and you can add it here. Then that particular instances also will be moved to the higher environments. If you want to move the custom jar files like Pega PowerPoint generation jar files or barcode scanner jar files, all this we can include it. It's not a mandatory thing. This is also an optional thing. Don't need to worry about it. You can ask the technical, like a deployment support team to deploy it, import it in target environment. It's not a mandatory that this is an optional one. You can provide the creation date on which particular product rule has been created. Description on which, what is the description of the particular product rule. It is not a mandatory thing. Yes, you can ignore it. Only the mandatory things is applications to include, rule sets to include, global exclusions. Like depending on your requirement, you have to play with it. And class instances to include, DSS to include. You should know thoroughly what each and everything. But jar files to include is not a mandatory. Don't worry about it. Even update dependent applications. The two are not mandatory things. You don't need to know much about it. And preview product rule. Yeah, I told you already what are the instances. I'm already showing from past 20 to 30 minutes what are the preview product instances which are getting added. All this information will be getting in the product rule, preview product file. So once you click on create product file, it will create a zip archive. This zip archive jar file will be formed. Jar file contains all the instances whatever just now I have included, whether application instances, data instances, rule instances, class instances, class records, work cases. Every information will be imported. Like it will be not imported. It will create a zip archive. We'll use this zip archive to import into the target environments. How to do the import process, I'll explain you in the next sessions. In the next videos, I'm trying to give that information. Next classes. Next, not even class. Just when I'm trying to explain about importing process, I'll provide you that information. So totally 1381 records has been exported. So when you click on it, that jar file will be imported, will be downloaded, and you can use it to import into the target environments. Yeah, this is all about detailed, not even brief. It's a complete detail. Brief, I have given a brief description about the deployment in the part one and the detailed description about the product rule in the part two. This is alone sufficient to what kind of deployment you want to do it, you can play with it. You can easily do this. Thank you. Thanks a lot.